Good day, and thank you for joining me for another 5 minute video. And I hope you are definitely finding these useful and helpful. Today we'll be looking at the second book of Chronicles. Second Chronicles, excuse me. Um, Now, if you remember in First Chronicles, we mentioned that that was written to people who are returning from captivity, so that it will show them what happened and how they ended up where they were. So it was just kind of giving them their history, just to guide them along. So Second Chronicles is a continuation of that, uh, and it's just giving the people the history from the reign of Solomon, because First Chronicles ends with the death of David. So we're going from Solomon to the captivity. Um, Now, as with First Chronicles, there are more details than in, for example, Second Samuel and in the books of Kings. And Second Chronicles focuses on the nation of Judah. What is given there is focused on Judah. Now it mentions some of the people or the kings in Israel, but it's focused on Judah. So maybe just some quick chapters to take note of, or well, this is a little bit of an outline slash key points. Chapters 1 through 9 are the reign of Solomon. Chapter 10, we start seeing the change of other kings. But chapter 10, this is where Rehoboam comes in. This is the son of Solomon, and it actually shows us or gives us the reason for the split of the kingdom. It tells us why the kingdom split. Then we go to chapter 24, we find Joash, who started reigning when he was a young boy. But he was helped by a priest called Jehoiada. But after this priest had died, then Joash turned and was now influenced to do evil. That's around verses 20 through 22 of that chapter. And that's just how quickly, our belief in God should be a personal thing, because if we are dependent on somebody else, what happens when that person leaves or does die? Then we just kind of get carried with the wind. So I think that's kind of what happened with Joash here. And to say, and just to add to that, the priest indeed was his, I would say, guidance or somewhat supervisor. So it's good to make our faith in God personal, so that you are responsible for it and not somebody else. Because at the end of the day, God will make us responsible for it. We cannot pin it on somebody else. Chapter 26 is Uzziah. I think this one is worth noting. He's the king who tried to make an offering in the temple, and God punished him for it. And then we have Hezekiah, chapters 29 through 32. And in chapter 32, it tells us of Sennacherib. Then chapters 34 through 35, Josiah, another person who is mentioned a lot because he made reforms in the nation. And then chapter 36, which is the last chapter, the captivity of the nation. The last two verses of that chapter, verses 22 and 23, actually lead us off into Ezra. And if you read Ezra, you will see it shows like it's kind of like going directly, they are almost similar, almost exactly word for word. So that is the book of Second Chronicles. And in a nutshell, we can say Second Chronicles is looking at the kingdom of, well, it takes us to the split of the kingdom, and then looks at the southern kingdom, the reigns of the kings in the southern kingdom. So once again, Second Chronicles, from Solomon to the split of the kingdom, and then a focus on Judah to the captivity. I definitely hope this is helpful to you, And of course, there's 36 chapters in there, and so there's a lot more in there than what I'm giving. But of course, I'm trying to fit this into a 5 minute section, and I hope this will help you go along and pick out a lot more out of the book. Enjoy your Bible studies.